Portal season is live. Portal season is live, boys. We're titling this. We're gonna do installments. So this is Portal Update 1.0. Technically, as far as I'm concerned, the offseason hasn't started yet. The offseason shouldn't have started yet because the basketball season officially is still going on, right? There's an Elite Eight game going on right now, but because college basketball and the NCAA is so stupid because they have absolutely no idea how to govern this sport, they're just like, yeah, let's start it. Let's start the portal. Imagine if NFL free agency started during the playoffs.
So
Imagine if
Genius.
guys were signing like
Genius.
$70 million contracts while they're in the AFC Championship game. But here we are. Here we are. Nick Schwert, Mike Vernon, Kevin Meckley. Kevin Tien's going to join us shortly. We had to do this today.
Should we make
had
up a
to do this
prank
today.
Should we prank Tien when he joins and say that there's breaking news?
No,
You don't-
that's so he's the most emotional of the four of us in terms of like
Let me just say,
deriving his happiness from this program, and like he's the one that you really are going to destroy if you hit him with something bad.
I'm going to tell him Josh Dix is going to Indiana, but continue.
Okay. Josh Dix,
sorry, I interrupted you.
Cannot be where we start this episode. I think there's a big picture conversation to have, obviously, but Mike, I'm going to need you to sort of set the scene as to where we're at with this Kansas roster, this Kansas offseason, what the plan is, how much have we already deviated from what we thought the path was going to be this summer. Like, set the scene for those of us who are kind of catching up as to like what the hell is happening right now.
Yeah, for you, the portal hasn't started or the offseason hasn't. For me, I'm on a week. This is day 7. I've been living in the portal. I'm just in a constant black hole of portal. It's really cool. So here's where KU is at. There is no team. As John Calipari,
Can I just say something? I already have to call a timeout.
Okay.
I just got a text from you. I got a text from your fucking newsletter during the show. Are you scooping? Are you scooping during a live recording of this show?
Oh, I'll be scooping during the show. There's like a guaranteed I will start looking at something else. But
I have an issue with that, Mike. Mike, you know that gets under my skin.
But Scoops Mafia, the Discord is here. If y'all want me to scoop, I'm gonna scoop. All right. That's it. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Well, I just got a live update. Update.
No leaking. No leaking. Mech's muted.
Mech's muted. How much has he been talking?
None. I was yelling at the TV. Sorry.
Okay, Mike, what's the scoop? What's the latest? Where are we standing right now?
There is a massive roster turnover taking place. Flory is hitting the portal. Bill flew to Indiana today after being informed of this yesterday. And I just sent out an update that said, I don't think anything's changed based on that meeting. I don't think Flory's back. So basically, KU's got a team of like Darren Peterson, El Marco, Jamari McDowell.
You sure about that?
Probably Darren Peterson, El Marco, Jamari, and Bryson Tiller. Maybe.
Sick.
So that's a scoop awesome. I'm working on. Awesome. That actually is so there's some info for y'all that are here. I actually think that is his status is shaky right now. A little on
Which
the fence.
One? Bryson Tiller?
Yeah, I think he's
looking
around being like,
wait, Mike, you're telling me, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're telling me guys that are signed up to play for KU next year are starting to look around and say like, everybody else who's played on this team, one's out.
Yeah.
Am I sure this is where I want to begin my college career?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going on. You said it really well. KU is, though, out hunting as well. Josh Dix is the first target that we know of that KU is serious about. He's visited. That is certainly a big name to keep an eye on. The other big name that we know KU is going to be pushing hard for is Kesan Hall. Kesan Hall, Big 12 leading scorer, scored like 34 against KU one game, 25 another game. He could be your stretch four, your Jalen Wilson type. So you start to see, like, on one hand, perhaps giant. There's like a red flag, like it's like 3/4 of the way up the pole, but it's not all the way up. I think if you can't, depending on how these things play out here, we'll either just fly it like hard and hit the tornado siren or bring it back down. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, Darren Peterson, Josh Dix, Kesan Hall, you get a rim running center. Like all of a sudden, that team makes a lot of sense. So we are hanging in the balance. What are you two laughing at?
This is a shit show, bro.
Oh, it's a shit show.
Stop. Dude,
Like,
don't
you're
even
like-
try to hit this.
You
Don't even try to
you've
hit
been in the
this
portal
with
for
a
7
dash of like, oh, this could be good. These guys can work together. This is awful. Nobody wants to fucking be here. That's the headline. Nobody wants to fucking play at Kansas.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the headline.
There are people who want to play for Kansas. I just don't know if people we want them to play for Kansas. Here's the thing. Like, Mike, I love you, but you're all fired up about the portal. Like, you're living in the portal. No, that you're living in the portal. You said it's been
I had
cold.
to.
I know. No, I get it. Like, this is your thing.
No, it's miserable.
Baby, this is when you're shining. This is you, man. This is you. This is all you. This is your season, bro. Like, love it. Love it for you. Love it for the Discord. Love it for the hearings. Love it for go sign up, VIPs, all the things. I love that. However, this is treacherous for everyone else. This is the worst. It is the dumbest thing I've maybe ever seen in sports. Like, what are we doing? This is so stupid. And here's the other thing. Literally everyone agrees it's stupid. Everyone. Like, the players are the only ones here who are going, kind of cool. Like, you know, this is kind of cool. Why would I get committed to anything? Why would I set roots with anybody? Why should I ever commit to more than 1 year ever? You shouldn't under these rules. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't. It is in your interests to have a short-term view of your college experience. And that is stupid. It is stupid for everybody. It's stupid.
It's certainly the worst possible scenario for the college basketball fan. And I kind of go back and forth between like narrow focus on KU. Why is this so bad? Why does everybody hate my team? And then big picture view of like, this is a bad stretch for KU. And I know it's really easy to look around at like Duke and Houston and all the teams they're thriving right now and say they've got it figured out. It's like, well, they happen to have it figured out in like the first 2 years of this new college basketball era. Let's check back in 2 or 3 years. Maybe that's when all of a sudden shit hits the fan for them as well. I don't know. Maybe KU just isn't as positioned for the future as those programs were. But I agree with everything Mike said. It's fucking sucks. This is the worst. It's awful. And it seems like both things can be true, which is that this new era of college basketball sucks. And on top of it, our favorite team was not ready or did not have the proper strategy to transition into this new era of college basketball. Because how the fuck do you have a McDonald's All-American freshman? He played 16 minutes a game. let's not act like this dude was redshirting. Like he played 16 minutes a game, is in line for a massive role next season at one of the premier programs in the country. And he's just like, nah,
Doesn't
I'll
matter.
go get a bag somewhere else. Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Now, here's
matter.
the thing. You could be both right about one thing. If he really liked it here, he'd get a bag here too.
Bam.
And
100%.
I think that there's more to the story than just money here. If it was just money, I would still get it, because he could probably get whatever open market. Like, I don't know what it looks like, but what, 3-4 million? I mean, Mike, is that what's the number?
Probably I'd say 2-3.
So $3 million. Like, I don't know if he gets that here or not. Maybe he does. Maybe it's less. Probably
It's a lot more than money. It's more than money.
So that's the point, though. He wouldn't like
Mhm.
a couple. What's the difference between 2, 2.5, 2 or 3? Like, at the end of the day, like, you are trying to get in the league, number one, and make a check at the same time. Like, Hunter's deal was different. Hunter was never going to the league. Maximize your paycheck as much as you can right now. Maximize. This guy's different. He's looking for the best situation, the best money, and that's not Kansas to him, and that sucks.
Yeah, because like that's the thing. I know that because it's all on the surface now and it's all like legal, the NIL stuff, we like to think of it as, oh, well, somebody else offering him more money. What do you expect him to do? But the truth is, at KU, there have always been talented players not playing as much as they thought they should have. And there's always been lesser programs behind the scenes calling, saying, like, hey, you really going to ride the pine at Kansas another year? You could come be an All-American, play 35 minutes a game for us.
There's something
and that's go ahead.
These guys have agents now, and these agents are pros. And normally we can get to this time of year and Bill can kind of say, this is going to be different, X, Y, Z, you're going to play. And these agents have maybe repped KU players before. They talk to other agents, and the postseason sweet talk may not work as well right now when you've got a lot of professionals managing this, and that's part of it, where it's like, I've heard him say that before. Like, that's a new thing that a player's going to probably have in their ear.
Are you
right
saying
or wrong?
Bill's full of shit? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying Bill's a politician, like you've always said.
He is.
And he is a great closer. And sometimes you're going to, even if he believes it to be true, in the heat of the moment, he hasn't shown he's going to play differently. And I think what guys came in expecting last year versus what they got, the players, didn't add up.
Different this year, dude. We have no returners.
Well, that is true.
Well,
there's a little different vibe this year.
Well, I think everything you said is true, Mike, about agents and how they're going to play it versus just like Bill talking to a guy and his family. But I think the one thing that it's not just Bill like selling you on playing time. It is, and it's the reason why KU's not just been like one of another good team for the past 20 years. It's like, no, they've been like the top 2 or 3 programs in the country for the past 2 decades. Is the culture that Bill's built, and guys want to be a part of it. Guys know if you stick around here, it's gonna pay off. And clearly, there isn't anything happening right now that guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna turn down better offers on paper elsewhere to be a part of this. There's nothing here that guys want to be a part of and are willing to push aside other priorities for. Yeah, and that's what fucking sucks. It's like, that was always the equalizer. It's like, yeah, because in this new era, I think Mech, we were in a text and you had said this, or maybe you tweeted this a couple of days ago. It's like, there's always going to be a school offering more money than you. So what else can you offer that other schools can't compete with? Because if it's always going to come down to who has the most money to offer, yeah, There's always going to be another school that's willing to offer $1 more than you will, but you're Kansas, so you should have things that other programs can't compete with. And right now, that does not seem to matter at all.
Look at the SEC though, dude. Like the equalizer's there. Like all these teams in the tournament, Tennessee, go down the list, Alabama, like these teams didn't exist in the same conversation as Kansas. And now you've got coaches, Florida, you've got coaches who are rising stars. You have programs who are now multi-year, success stories. And it's not just Duke and North Carolina and whatever we're going after anymore. The blue blood status is that this is the thing that I probably fear the most of this era, is that blue blood status is not as strong or matters as much as it used to.
Mac.
Kevin Tehan.
I was listening, trying to get on. Yeah, did y'all play NCAA football, the video game? It's back out now, and I remember you'd pick a coaching job, and program prestige was always a thing. I think they deleted that field. I don't think it matters anymore. So a 5-star program prestige or a 1-star, that just doesn't exist. Like Mech is saying, that's kind of over.
So what does exist? Is it just like cash and playing time?
Lamborghinis exist.
Style of play, I think, matters.
Style of play matters.
Style of play matters. Money matters.
Development.
Exposure and development.
Yes. Yeah.
ESPN suck job if you're Duke.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems cool. Seems cool for Duke. But trust it, that feeling that you're going to get better, you're going to get a chance to either go pro or get paid. And I do think exposure matters too. Kev, you don't even know Kev, you might have missed this. Josh Dix is going to Indiana.
What?
I'm just kidding. I made that up.
Oh, I was like, damn.
I told him not to fuck with you, Kevin. That's mean of Mike. I told him not to mess with you because I know how much you live and die by the recruiting decisions of these kids. But
wait, what?
Yeah, white dicks.
Hey,
I'm gonna stop.
Mike, let me ask you. I know what you've sent out on your newsletter, but can you give me your take on exactly what's going on with Flory? Without he's not happy. What is he actually trying to get here? What's going on? Is this a money thing? Is this a playing time thing? What is it?
Yes, all of it. I don't think that they trust the staff to do what's in their best interest and that he's going to be able to develop there. They weren't happy with his improvement this year. They saw him play 4 games in a row, get 25 minutes a game plus. KU's offense, I think in that stretch, was number 5 in the country in adjusted offense. Sorry. And then the next 2 games, his minutes go to 1 field goal too. People are saying and then Flory was bad down at the end, but people are saying that the Guardian is shady. His agent's Hunter's agent. There's a relationship with KU. I think it's just about trust that anything will be different. And money. Sure, of course that's going to matter. People say, I don't think the decision is coming from Flory. I actually do think Flory was involved in this decision. It's easy to say, and I thought Flory liked it all along, right? I think when it's come down to it, I don't think he really trusts the staff. And this year was a shit show. It was a shit show. And they're like, we don't want to do that again. They didn't like the style of play, development. There is money. The whole thing, it was really bad.
So how does this work? In the utopian future of Kansas basketball and college basketball in general, where it's okay, even if we could make a reasonable argument that Flory should have played more, but like it's not like he deserved 30 minutes a game, whatever his team or his agent thinks that he deserved, whatever. But in the world of having to keep this guy happy, knowing that at the first sign of discontent, he's going to be looking for the next stop in the offseason. Because the answer can't be simply play every guy as much as they think they should play simply so they don't leave next year. So like, where is the middle ground for how much you acquiesce to these players' demands versus like, hey, you're going to play how much we think, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you get what I'm asking?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think Self was really stuck in the middle this year, right? We're like, we saw him play some guys through like that they paid more and that they prioritized in the portal too. And like, but also not be willing to like really adjust how he was going to coach at the same time. I felt like he was stuck in the middle between trying to accommodate some portal, but not trying to go all the way and almost like push back in certain areas where he was getting pressed on style of play, like going 3 bigs. The people chanted for Flory, and it's like, all right, here's 3 bigs. You know, like it was really a strange year. And how do you handle it? Like, I don't, you know, there are also like 3 dudes that he was really loyal to, especially Dewan and KJ, and like they're gone now. And so we don't really know, but is it like these guys aren't necessarily upset? It's not because of playing time, but they've got to trust you. And that's something that I think is actually missing right now.
We're not going to have this problem anymore, though, because that was the holdover of the old era. Those guys.
But you got to be straight up with dudes.
Understood. That's fine. Cool. 1 year. Hey, honestly, 1 year contracts. I assume everyone's leaving anyway. Don't be straight with them. Lie to them. Who cares?
Well,
1 year strategy. 1 year. It's a 1 year deal. What's the worst case scenario? Come in and be good, and you'll play now, which was not the case this year. Come in and be good, and you won't play this year. That's my path. My point is that's now gone. Now we're in the new world, and if you come in and you're good, you will play because you don't have KJ and Juan and Hunter or whoever else in front of you. They're gone. Those guys are gone, and they're never coming back. We're never going to have like 4-year guys who stick around and become like Bill Self's buddies and like, you know, like their sons and that sort of thing. Like that's gone. It sucks. Like I like that. I'm with Nick. Like I'll miss that, but it's gone. Of course, it's gone.
They'll find some middle ground. I don't know what it's going to look like, but right now you're certainly in this transition area where like both things happen at once. The portal and NIL all kind of at once. Wild West. NCAA loses in court if they would try to do anything. They're gonna have to collective bargain or something, and it's just not like that's where we're headed. But as far as like I'm just saying, word will spread. Like you kind of have to be your leverage, your control as a coach, like isn't what it was, and they really have to get there, and it's what you sell them on. And it didn't happen.
Yeah, but that's okay, fair. But even though there won't be other 4-year guys who Bill Self loves and like just becomes like a blind spot for him, there will be other KJs in the sense of even in the portal era, there's going to be a freshman, there's going to be a talented blue chip freshman who comes in and doesn't play as much as he thought behind a lesser talented guy who fans on Twitter are going to say he shouldn't be playing as much. Like in that sense, there will be other KJs in the future. And it doesn't even matter if Bill Self's the coach. There's always going to be a guy who fans want to see play more over a guy fans want to see less of. And so the idea that the answer is to simply there's always going to be a malcontent. There's always going to be someone who's not,
of course,
getting as much playing time. And the idea that like, oh, well, they're just going to go around and tell people like, yeah, he told me I was going to play a ton. Well, it's like, well, what about the guy who's playing a shit ton? Yeah. He's going to go around and say like, yeah, this coaching staff fucking rocks. I played 35 minutes a night. It was awesome.
I don't think people who were on the team last year are going to say that, which sucks, by the way.
You don't think there's one? You don't think KJ? Does KJ have an agent? You don't think he's out there just preaching Bill Self, just saying like this guy knows how to take care of his dudes?
He was really
Get KJ on a speaking tour.
He will play you. He will play you all the minutes. Just go there. That's what happened for me.
What are you guys talking about? He's like, I
don't get it.
Didn't lie to me.
I was strong. He told me I'd play less. And I played more. I hurt my ankle and played 30 minutes the next night against Michigan State. 37 against Carolina to start the year.
Loyalty.
I don't know. Like it was a messy year. Like, and I think, relating in player development is just going to be really, really important. And I don't know that that's been a priority. There'll be some changes though.
Is that going to be a priority going forward though? Again, with 1 year
rentals.
1 year
if
rentals.
You need them. If you need the guys.
I guess.
We still got El Marco and Jamari.
I like that. If you're good or if you're not good and you come in and develop to be good, you leave. Like you go get a bigger check somewhere.
Yeah, it's like thanks for the development. Now I can get paid. Do you think they're just going to get rid of boot camp and just do like skills training?
No more boot camp.
Just launching 25-footers instead of boot camp. That would work.
I like that take a lot.
There's
well, you know what? Okay,
something.
So I want to do this now though, because going into this offseason, you effectively have how many spots? Can somebody give me a number? How many spots as of today, March 31st? How many spots does KU need to fill this summer?
Well, technically you can go up to 15 now. They're not going to do 15. I don't think they'll have like 13 players or something probably. They have like 2 returning for sure.
It's 11.
Maybe 3. Well, let's say Tiller comes back. Let's say Tiller comes
only
back.
10.
So it's like 10. You're really going after, 6 or 7 to pay. And
all
you're
right.
going to get some fillers.
Going to get some diggies.
15
when you sent out the initial report on Flory yesterday, Mike, it was like 11 p.m. here in Europe, and I'm at the bar and I'm contemplating not to tell my fiance, who's a huge KU fan. I was like, it'll ruin her night. And it would have. And then so I'm just sitting there at this dive bar trying to articulate my thoughts, and I just went stream of consciousness on Twitter. And I had a couple people, including, and I love him, Matt Scott, formerly of The Shiver, and he quote tweeted me. I don't know why, but he said, "Calm down, Nick." And all I said, I was like, this fucking sucks. I can't articulate how bad this is. Nobody wants to be a part of KU. Mass exodus coming. Bill Self going out with a whimper. Fuck this. This is sad. And he said, "Calm down, Nick." How can anyone be calm about this? Is there anybody who's looking at this current situation and being like, "No, it's fine. Well, this is totally cool"? No, yeah, we're going to go get 12 new guys. That's totally fine. And it'll work. I'm here to tell you right now, it's not going to work. If KU, I don't give a fuck how good Darren Peterson is. If you put 11 new players around him, and I've had a lot of takes on here. I've never been more convicted about a take than this one. If you don't bring back even as much as like Flory and Diggy, that was my only ask. Bring back Flory and little Diggy Coit. You can't even bring those guys back. You are fucked.
Why would you pay?
They
Why
will
would you
suck next year. They will suck. I don't care. It's not about why would you do this. It's not about like a spreadsheet. I'm telling you, if you put a whole new roster around Darren Peterson next year, they're an 8th seed. And then next off season, it's like, hey, so apparently Travis Goff flew out to Burbank to meet with Mick Cronin tonight. Is that the future you want as a KU basketball fan? Because that's what we're staring down the barrel at. You can't reload. Because every offseason for the past 3 years, it's been like 5 or 6 guys who are going to come in and play 1 year. Whether it's MJ Rice or fucking Cam Martin, right? And then you go to Johnny Furphy and you get McCuller for 2 years. You get like Parker Brown and Nick Timberlake. There's varying levels of the spectrum. But now you're replacing 7 guys and we're going to get 7 new guys in who are going to leave next year. And then 5 that are going to stay for 2 years. They're going to suck, dude. They're going to suck. How can you be calm about the current situation Kansas basketball is in? I can't for the life of me dredge up one crumb of optimism about the state of Kansas basketball.
Hold on. The optimism is that they're going to be forced, or they truly have an opportunity to, I mean, first of all, you just cooked. Okay. Congrats to you. That was sick. I enjoyed it. That's why we play. All right. If you want to be optimistic, you've got their hand forced a bit as far as cleaning house with players. And pretty much if you don't need to pay, they're not going to overpay for some guys like Diggy probably. And you can pretty much put a team together without any leftover loyalties that like cause them to kind of be in the middle or struggling between 2 eras last year. They're going to go all in and we're going to see what it looks like. We still don't know. And you start looking at some guys and it's like, okay, Josh Dix, Kesan Hall, you get a rim running center, and like those pieces are pretty awesome. If you ask me, like on paper, that makes sense. So like, yeah, that could be good. But the big
but AJ Storr and Rylan Griffin were good on paper.
Different.
No, we're not doing revisionist history here. We're not going to sit here and act like we weren't fired up about this offseason last year.
You're missing though that now the other guys are gone. The hand is forced.
Yeah.
The hand is forced is what I'm saying. You step back and you say big picture and it's like, well, we're toward the end of the Bills run probably, and like there are some serious concerns and questions. But like that every year they've like had some tricks up their sleeve. They've been able to pull some guys. They'll pull some stud who's looking at going pro. And like, if Darren is what it seems like he is, you've got Josh Dix is actually, I think, pretty good based on my understanding here. I don't know a ton about Kesan Hall, but that dude plays hard. Like, okay, rim running center. You don't need to pay Flory. You need scoring at 1 through 4. You don't need it at the 5. Like, this is your chance to make things actually different for once. So if you're asking for the optimistic take, that's the optimistic take. And like, we don't know yet.
I get beat up about this, but I'll continue to be on this side until I'm not. Do you trust Bill Self still?
Yeah.
Because
to quote my favorite athletic director, in what regard?
That's a good
I think the question really is, he obviously got it wrong this last year. Like, obviously, like objectively got it wrong. And maybe the last 2 years. Like, you could probably do that. But, and I've said this for a while, like, we don't know how well how good he is at this because he hasn't done it. Like, he has been in old world for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Not recruiting over dudes, having these guys stick around. This era is new now. It's been new for everyone else. Now, for the first time, literally the first time, this is Bill Self's. You can argue 10 times out of 10 he should have done this earlier, but he didn't. So whatever. Starting fresh, can he figure it out? And if you want to be on the side of, no, he's washed, that's fine. Honestly, that's probably 80% of Twitter, and 95% of the Discord, as far as I can tell. But if you are on the side of Bill Self is still pretty good at this, he can figure out a team, and once he gets a team, he's going to be pretty good. Then let's see what happens. And the objective, I guess now, if you want to give, I'll still remain optimistic. And really, it's because we have to do, like Mike said, we have to get all new dudes. It's the first time. What if Bill Self just got to handpick players? We've never seen that before. And now we get to see it. Whether he gets them or not, that's another question. But this is the first time we've seen it.
He was stuck in the middle. Now he's not.
Well, though, we've talked about the last 3 off seasons and how it's just whiff after whiff after whiff, both in terms of guys you brought in and decisions you made of letting guys go, etc. But Zuby, I know people again are going to be like, well, look at what happened to St. John, but Zuby would have been in the last 20 years, fits the mold program guy, right? Doesn't play at all. Then all of a sudden, works his way into a starter role and becomes a fan favorite. Hindsight being 2020, is Zuby a guy that you would look at and say oh, in a perfect world, they would have hung on to him and he would have played? Or you're just saying, Mac, it's no, not in this new era. You don't wait around for guys to become good players in year 3. You go out and you pluck a guy from the portal who's ready to go right now. Trust that your staff has the evaluation skills to pinpoint those right guys, because that goes back to your question. Do you trust Bill Self? I'm not sure after the last 3 off seasons how you could sit here with a straight face and say, yes, I trust this staff to go find the right guys to build a championship roster this offseason. Because at no point, not even in the new era, at no point in his tenure at Kansas has that been what he's good at. Has that been what's made him a Hall of Famer? Is, I'm going to go out and get a bunch of guys who are going to be good this year. Boom. That's never been it. It has been, hey, I know how to build a culture. I know how to develop players. I know how to build a championship roster over the course of many seasons. He has never, ever been good at going out and building a championship roster in one off season. So I don't know how you could sit here now and say, this is the year it's going to happen.
By the way, I'm not saying that this is the year it's going to happen. I'm saying we have never seen it. We've never seen this before. You're right. He's never had to shape a team, but no one really has, other than the guys who bought in earlier than he did. I mean, look around college basketball right now. There's some teams who had a lot of new faces come in, do pretty damn well. Are they just better at it than Bill? Maybe.
I think Bill's so tough on these. He cannot treat transfers like they're freshmen. And I think he's done that before.
That's fair. He does have to adjust some of that. I think you're right there.
But I think he can.
But here's the thing.
They're all going to be freshmen.
They're all going to be, yeah.
There's no choice. The hand is forced.
That's why it's different this year. They're all going to be new. You don't have your favorite guy returning that he's just going to be hey, man, here's how he's going to play this. I'm just going to let you know. Hey, you better learn how to play defense, bro. Whatever. There's not that guy.
Mac, I think you just actually cooked up the new hashtag or motto for this season, which is, this year it's different. For real this time, though. You put that in small text underneath. This year it's different.
All the
Bill
faces
Self.
change.
This year, it's
and the expectations have a little bit too.
Isn't it suck? This is the year that we're not a damn 1 seed, and all the 1 seeds are going to make it. We're 1 seed every damn year, and all the 1 seeds are going to make it. This is the 1 year we decide not to be a 1 seed, and of course,
We decided.
It's not like we were close.
decided.
Not like we were
take
close
this
to
year.
a 1 seed.
I just want to be part of the 1 seed clan again that gets to the final 4 with all 4 of them.
We suck again.
Dang it!
No
Yeah.
pressure.
Okay.
No
someone
diamonds.
just brought up. I don't even know if this is exactly what they were referencing it, but it did make me think maybe this is what they're saying. But Brett says what Bill did to AJ and Rylan. I don't know if that's exactly what anybody here said, but it does require a belief that like, oh, AJ and Rylan would have been good under the right circumstances or under proper coaching, because that was a take that we heard all season long was like, oh, they need to play more. If they were playing more, they'd be more comfortable. They'd be farther along by now. Other coaches would have gotten the best out of those guys. Do you guys still sit here now and think that like there is an alternate reality where AJ and Rylan could have been like really good at Kansas?
Nobody's making a case, it looks like.
No.
Yeah, I hear the silence speaks volumes.
Yeah,
you-
not really.
Are you asking, could they have been better at Kansas, like under another coach, or had they not come to Kansas, would they have had a better likelihood of success? Like, what are
Yeah.
you asking exactly?
Like, say, for
Well,
example,
they bottomed
what
out
do
at
you
Kansas.
ask?
So I think the second question is already answered. Yes, they would have had better success elsewhere because it couldn't have been much worse. I'm saying like if Bill would have pushed the right buttons, if he would have acquiesced to their desires a little bit more, could we have seen like a really good version of either one of those players?
I think they're exactly what they are.
So
Yeah,
are you saying that if Kansas's coach wasn't a former math teacher that wears blazers that kind of match the school's colorways, if that guy was the coach, would we have had the same route in AJ, hypothetically?
Yeah, pretty
The guy
much.
who lets them just run fast and shoot a lot and play defense in the postseason.
Well, I think it might be unfair to lump them together. It might be unfair to be like the AJ and Ryan package because they are different. I sent a text to you guys like 2 weeks ago about like what my hopes for the offseason or like for all the players. And I think I bookended it by saying like, I'm willing to say something dangerous about AJ Storr, which is that like, if you made me choose between you can only have one that comes back next year, just based off the last 2 weeks of the year, I'm like, I wouldn't hate to see if we could make this AJ Storr thing happen
Nick
in
wants AJ
2026.
Put the headline out right now.
Holy shit.
Hey, think of DP and AJ. I'm just saying, guys. Whoa, so good. That duo, right?
Pass to AJ and woo, everything stops.
The vibes. Think of the vibes.
Burner says,
Bad.
why can't we sell the idea of playing with DP like Duke did with Flag? We don't. It's the portal's been open for a week, so there's no verdict outside of Flory leaving. Like that's pretty much it. So I'm not there yet. Like I don't think we know that. What is AJ's nickname for Darren? Would AJ remember his name?
You call him Derek. Hey, Derek.
D-Man.
D.
Hey, D-Man.
You call him Derek Patterson.
Oh, I love the take from Reber. We just don't have the brotherhood that the other teams have. The Duke brotherhood. We just don't have the brotherhood. Do we need to invest in that? Do we need CB to come back like every year and just be the brotherhood maker? Like, do we need that? We need some culture back in the Hawks.
Well, yes.
Minister of Culture.
In short, yes. We
we-
do need culture badly.
So mean. We do. It does feel like like I laughed at that bit, but it's kind of also not the worst take either.
I like what you're
When I
saying.
just-
We need a gimmick. Like they have an absolute gimmick, and with the Brotherhood, gimmick, and start lying to these guys in the portal and in high school recruiting.
I like the KUCMP.
Prestige is gone. Gimmicks and ethics.
Remember KU Cash Money Billionaires,
Yeah, of course.
or KU Men's College Basketball, which is what they tried to convince that's what it meant. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's old Twitter, man. That's the olds know that one.
Hashtag
KUCMB, baby.
Almost got
CMV.
like KUCMB. Like I was this close to getting it. I was
The license plate.
KUCMB just to see if anyone would ever know.
You get a few. I mean, like culture, I do think has been lost a bit. There was a run of guys who lived in the gym and got better as a result. And I don't think that was the case with last year's like Dewan and CB and sorry, not CB, KJ.
Okay, can I ask you something about that though? About that run that you just mentioned, Mike?
Yes, Papa.
Do you think when it was I'm assuming you're talking about Frank, Devontae,
Ouch.
Ochai, Jalen Wilson, right? Do you think that goes hand in hand with culture? Or do you think that is simply 4 guys who just happen to like have that dog in them and they wanted to be great? It's probably a little bit of both. I understand it's not like a yes or no question, but like I assume, like I always thought at the time, like Frank had that massive leap from junior to senior year.
Sure.
Devontae saw that and was like, this is what it takes. If I want to do that, this is what it takes. Right.
Yeah.
And then like the next guy did it and the next guy did it. You don't have anybody who's back for the next year. So it's like
well, there wasn't culture last year.
Right. So like when you replace a roster year after year, you don't have anybody looking at the dude who did it before them and was like, yeah, I need to do that now.
Ideally, you could pick some, and I think Elmarco and Jamari have had that mentality, at least a bit. But yeah, no, it's a real concern, and I do think like
play. Are they going to be leaders on this team? Like, do we have like return?
I think Elmarco will probably play. I would expect him to play.
Do we need a returning starter, or are we going to have 5 new starters?
At the beginning of the year, maybe Elmarco starts, but like I think we're kind of looking at basically 5 new starters. It's like 5 of the top 6.
Well, Elmarco starting is not a fucking returning starter.
That's true.
Returning
games 2 years ago.
Returner starter.
Returner, period. Starter, period.
Do we need to go back to fighting dudes at the cave?
Yes.
Cave closed.
Yeah, bring people together.
Open the cave and save KU basketball.
Open the cave.
Open the cave.
Open the cave.
Love this take.
I mean, guys,
put it on the scroll, Mike. Open the cave.
Guys, is Bill looking at like this offseason going, holy fuck, I've got to go get 12 dudes? Are you kidding? Like he's got to be sitting there right now thinking, I'm not sleeping. I can't sleep this. And he just had one of these off seasons. He's got to be sitting there wondering why he didn't already retire. Why didn't I already pack it in? Because this is going to be the worst off season of my life.
That's comforting.
Is it? So
apparently the cave's open.
Oh, is it? You gotta get 12. Dude, don't you remember the years where it's like, oh, how many freshmen this year? 3, 4 new guys, and most of them were signed by February. He's sitting here right now thinking, I got to get 12 guys in 2 months. Have fun.
Remember the year, the years where every year we had an issue with the cave and we haven't in 10 years? Like
The
cave's. Yeah.
Bring back the cave.
Did you guys ever go? Did you guys ever go to the cave?
Yeah, I actually the cave.
I went like twice.
I was kind of.
Mac was the king of the cave, is what I heard. I don't know.
You were the one dropping bags down in the cave.
Right. I was dropping bags in the cave.
I think there was some bag dropping in the cave.
So yeah, hold on. I'm just thinking, like, how would Bill Self? How does he view this off season? The level of activity that's required out of him. I mean, he can't play golf. He can't play golf anymore.
That
has to.
No, he's not going. He's not going to Scotland with the boys on a golf trip this year. Like
not right now.
Not right now.
No Cabot Cliffs for Bill this summer.
I mean,
I watch his Gen. We're friends on Gen. I'll check to see how many scores he posts.
Yeah. Let us know. Honestly, you should start a new Twitter account that's just Bill Self Gen Tracker.
Bill Self Gen Tracker. I love that so much.
Great on the front, fell apart on the back. Bill's played 4 times this week. The roster is not going to be very good.
Oh man, that's really good. I mean, I will start that account. The first post I'll start that account and just post it.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Okay. Over under 6.5 18-hole rounds for Bill this summer.
Over. He just won't post them. Yeah, it'll be over.
No, posted.
Under. He'll post like
posted. Yeah, definitely under. He's probably that's how he's gonna get like that work-life balance. He's gonna bring Kesan Hall out to play 18 and have lunch.
And you know what? I kind of love that. Maybe that's what Bill needs to do. Mike, you could probably speak to this, but do you think this would work in the modern era of college basketball? Just a total indifference towards recruiting. If Bill just attacks these recruits like, yeah, you know what? You can come here. You don't have to come here. I don't really need you. I'd like to have you. I'm not going to bend over backwards for you. But hey, by the way, sorry, hold on. I got to hit this drive real quick.
I don't think that's going to resonate.
But nobody's tried it. So how do we know? Every single coach in America is telling these kids how bad they need it. Imagine if you're the hot chick at the cave and every guy's coming up to you telling you how much they want to take you home. And then there's that one guy, that stud in the corner who's like, I would take you home. I don't have to take you home. I don't need to. Don't you want to go home with that guy now?
Just neg. Like
it's hard for me to imagine being a hot woman. I haven't done it much, but I'm trying for this exercise.
I guess I'm saying, could Bill Self be the Andrew Tate of college basketball coaches? Do you think that would work?
I don't.
Not really.
What is? I don't know how to respond to that.
Just take it wherever you'd like.
I think Europe has broken Mr. Short here. You just can't even relate to Americans anymore. You just think, I'll use Andrew Tate.
This sport is stupid. Why do they even care? Don't care. That's Lance. This is our window. He doesn't care.
Can the European mind comprehend the cave? This concept.
They have the catacombs. It's very similar, I think. It's just put alcohol down, put partying down there.
And so then the college students would get paid down there, and they fought a lot in there, and the team needs it.
And it was always started by someone from Topeka. That was always the allegation.
Yeah.
People from Topeka started it.
That's so
the European mind cannot comprehend Topeka.
And I took that verse. Here's one question I have real quick, and then I got to bounce, guys. I'm sorry. The question about Bill Self being washed, and I asked this I think last night on the Discord, which what a joy. Make sure you're on the Discord if you have the opportunity. The question that I had was, these guys, I mentioned before the blue blood status being potentially problematic in this new era, and maintaining it and having it be this like huge strategic advantage relative to the field. And we are looking at now, in a world where we have to go hire a new coach, that guys who would normally jump at the job may go, why would I leave Florida or whatever? Pick your spot. Did we miss the window where maybe Bill should have? Like, in a perfect, do you still think we could go get our top name on our list? Is, I guess, the real question. And blue blood status mattering far less than it used
I
to.
think no matter what, well, a real, like, the type of psycho that is going to win at KU, that probably you need to be a certain level of competitive maniac.
Sure.
And that same type might be drawn to a job like KU. The concerns are like revenue share, SEC schools having a lot more of it. And like there's some good young guys. Good guys. I don't know that we missed that window though. Like it's a scary thought. There's so many variables at play as to how things end. Who is, if Bill's involved, is he not involved? But it seems like in recruiting right now, a lot of guys want to go play in the SEC because they're playing fast and shit too. So like, I don't know. I don't think
100 points a game. Come to KU, score 58. Battle.
Yeah.
I think my take, Mech, is it's very similar to what players are dealing with, which is you offer me enough money, like Kansas can still offer top dollar for their next basketball coach. Like at the very least, like let's start at the very beginning of any conversation they would have with any, like if Bill Self retires, you start calling your top three guys. The one thing KU has that only, what's that?
Golden and Oates and those guys, they'll all get money. Like,
sure, fine, that's great. But KU is on a list of like 5 schools, where at the very least, you call your guy, number 1, number 2, number 3, they're picking up and having a conversation with you. They're taking a meeting with you. There are a lot of other schools where it's just like, nah. Tennessee calls, I got it pretty good here. Right? Auburn calls, no chance. Alabama calls, nah. Kansas calls, hey, your agent calls. Yeah, KU wants to meet with you. Take the meeting. You take the meeting. You get in the door with them. You sit down. You break bread. You have the combo. That's the very beginning. From there, it's like, what's the pitch? What's the package? Why is it going to be better here than it is at Florida? Because I will say this, it's too early to tell is probably the best answer. But as long as I can remember, there's always been this idea of like, hey, either in college basketball or college football, this young, up-and-coming, smart, sharp, successful coach has it going at school X. Could he just stay there forever and like turn them into one of the blue bloods? And the answer across the board has almost always been no. He will leave eventually because everyone leaves eventually, no matter where they're at. No one stays. Nobody stays because you always outstay your welcome. Sure, we can cherry pick. Sure, we can cherry pick and find like the outliers. But by majority, guys leave and take better offers. And Kansas is one of the schools that's going to pluck. So I saw somebody mention Kentucky, and you could do the same thing with like Alabama in football. Those schools are like the presidency. Like they age you. Notre Dame football, they age you. The expectations are insane. The fans are crazy. Kansas isn't quite on that level. Like KU fans are crazy. They're not Kentucky fans. They're not. And I do think like if Bill retired, you're getting one of your top like 3 or 4 candidates. You just are.
3 or 4, right? Nick, but I do feel like we all look at maybe a school that the coach they just won last night. I don't know how you can pluck from a top tier SEC school anymore. I mean, maybe you can get it done, but those variables.
But we're just doing this. But we're just doing this right now because the SEC is this is the worst time to have this conversation right this second.
Yeah,
it's the worst possible time to have this conversation.
That was my point from the beginning. Is this the worst time to have this conversation? Are we?
Well, yes, because
relative to when a year ago or year and a half ago or whenever you want.
But imagine how the conversation changes next offseason when Alabama's not a 1 seed, Florida's not a 1 seed, Tennessee's not a 2 seed, and we can roll our eyes and go like, oh, maybe. Okay, if you're telling me for the first time ever, like those teams are just always going to be great forever, and they're going to be the top 3, 4, 5, 6 schools in the country forever. It's not going to happen. I have history on my side for that one. Like,
fair, but all I know is every
Florida's a 4 seed. Hey, Florida's a 4 seed next year. Bama's a 5 seed. This conversation is a little more interesting from KU's perspective.
Bama's had now 3 straight pretty damn good years.
Oats.
So
are you saying that we're in the wrong place at the wrong time?
That's more what I was getting at. Are we? Was my question. But like whatever, it's all straw man anyway. But the thing that makes me, it's back to the thing that makes me the most nervous, and back to the kind of the issue we have across the board here. Does blue blood status matter or not, or as much as it used to?
Probably not as much as it used to.
And that matters for NIL. That matters for our next coach. That matters for the budget that we're getting relative to everybody else. Are we breaking ties against X school like the way we should as a blue blood, or is it now just, hey, you're just another school?
I think maybe I'm naive, but this is a hill I'm willing to die on. I feel like the top coaches in college basketball are still going to look at Kansas and say, James Naismith, Fog Allen, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Brown, Roy Williams, Bill Self. Yes, I would like to be a part of history of my number one passion in life.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I've ever given a shit about in my entire life. And this school has like the most ridiculous history in this sport.
And you're going to come be number 9.
Come be number 9. I'm going to be number 9 of a bunch of fucking Hall of Famers and like legends. Yeah. Like that still has appeal.
The best building, still fill it up. Like there's still some intangibles that are tough to beat. Like all that's true. All right, boys. Enjoy portaling.
Okay.
Goodbye, Mick. Goodbye.
I hope you guys come up with like really positive way to end this, by the way. Could you go?
We will. We're going to talk about Clinton Dix and the dude from McNeese State that we're getting, I guess, or some other school, UCF.
Stop. All right. Make it positive. End positively, boys. See ya.
All right.
Bye. All right. And then there were 3. Okay, that's actually a good transition. That's actually a good transition because we've been talking about a lot of existential stuff. And Mike, you wanted to get into this like right off the rip, but I thought it was appropriate to kick that can down the road a little bit. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. Who are like the 3 guys right now that you've got your eye on in terms of dominoes to fall for the offseason?
The main what to keep my eye on? Sorry.
What are going to be the first dominoes to fall in terms of portal targets?
Well, your Dix is your first and foremost.
Always.
So we got to see if Dix comes.
Okay, but can you give us a little background?
You hope. Well,
who is Dix? What is Dix?
Thank you. Josh Dix is an Iowa guard. He averaged, I don't know, like he's a good shooter. He's one of the best shooters in the country. He's also good at finishing around the rim. I don't know that he's like much of an alpha, which I think could be okay depending on who else they bring in. Seems like he can guard, play hard, pretty high on him. Like this dude's one of the more efficient players in the country. Super high efficiency.
Mike, he's like 13 or 14 points a game. I don't have it pulled up. I'm going off memory.
Yeah,
40,
like
like
14.
a perennial 40+% 3-point shooter. 6. I mean, really nice to have.
Like
everything.
Better Ryland.
Dix is everything. I think at the beginning of the portal.
And he's a
we're locked in on Dix.
Or what?
Going
what
to be
year
a,
would he be?
He has 1 year left, right? I feel like all of these mercenaries, all of our
old Dix,
they're 1 year,
but not as
Yeah,
old
and you
as
know what?
the last Dix.
It used to be when we would ask these questions, it'd be like, how much eligibility do they have left? But now it's more so like, how old are they? Like, how many years do they have under their belt that we have?
He's a
to
real
evaluate?
junior. He's a real junior. If the rule changes, technically he could have 2 years left. So 1 or 2 years, depending on the rules.
I asked you about him, and you told me. I asked him about this is like a week ago. I said, "Who is this guy?" And I think you texted me, Mike. You said he was if Rylan was actually good.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And now I'm
it.
developing a reputation for. I did this to Kevin last time. I'm developing a reputation for airing out private texts. This one's less inflammatory as the one that Kevin sent.
Certainly.
Yeah. I think like he makes a lot of sense when you're building a team, ideally around like what would have been a Flory type, rim running big, Darren Peterson, probably another guard who can get their shoulder past someone, and then you have like sharpshooter who can also finish, play in transition, just like very efficient, doesn't need the ball to be efficient, right? Like these are good things. So I think that's your first domino. He visited Illinois. He might be visiting Indiana, supposedly. He's from Omaha, or his mom lives in Omaha. Creighton's involved as well. I think it looks very good for KU. And I think if he doesn't come, there's like actually a pretty big, that would set off some alarms for me.
Wait, can you elaborate on that?
I knew you were going to do that. Just because like, I'd start to wonder if players who were like gonna go to KU are catching wind of the last year and being like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. That would be concerning to me. Now, I'm not saying that has happened. That's a hypothetical that I would like want to look into, because otherwise, like KU should get this guy, and I think he'd be a really good fit. And another.
Do you imagine when it's all said and done? Like this, it's so early in the portal, but do you imagine like by the end of the offseason, he'll still end up being like one of the top transfer portal guys?
Yeah. There's going to be bigger names coming in. He's already dropped down a bit, but I think he'll certainly be one of the best shooters in the portal. In more efficient players. Like I don't know the whole rankings. There's some better guys that are going to fall still. Like, we're still like
right. So nobody's bringing him in. None of these big name programs. I don't know who else you said was in there. I know you said Creighton, but like
Illinois, Creighton.
Ideally, you're not bringing Josh Dix in to be your alpha, right? You're not bringing Josh Dix in to be your Nick Schwartz. You're bringing him in to be just a guy, like a guy who can fit with a really good fit,
like a really, really, really good piece on, like, he makes sense building a team. If you think you are going to get other alphas, if you've got Darren, you need to take pressure off Darren. You want a rim running big. Like the next piece would be the efficient shooting wing that doesn't need the ball in his hands to make the engine go, right? So like I think he would be a very important piece. I don't think he'll be like the number one portal player, but he's like a top 10 portal player. He makes a ton of sense. He's like, I think this dude is good. It's my read. I'm sure that'll go great.
When are we expecting an announcement from him? Imminent?
Hashtag imminent. I think it would be this week, earlier this week, unless he goes and does this Indiana visit that's popping up today, possibly.
I wonder what kind of questions these guys are asking Bill and the staff right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when you see Flory's leaving, I have to imagine these guys are like, everything okay over there?
That's like, that's why I said I'm like concerned, is if like things are like seem headed toward like Dix to Kansas, and then there's a pivot around the same time as the Flory thing. It's like, that's not great vibes. Like John F says, it's not a good sign he didn't commit on the visit and is taking more. I think that was pretty expected. Like, also just for leverage and stuff, like it makes sense. You're not just going to go one and done on your visits. So like, there's your first domino that we need to see. Pretty much like, we'll be very, very curious. The next, do you have more questions on Dix?
Yeah, who's next? Like, well, I don't know. Kevin, did you have more question on
thoughts on Dix? Kevin, what's your want? Can we get a want grade? Decimal point, scale of 1 to 10.
New segment presented by Hims. Thoughts on Dix with Kevin Tien.
Yeah,
thoughts on Dix. Dix, very important appendage for this team. I'm gonna put it. Well, there's so much that we don't know about who's gonna enter, but I think it's nice. He's like the bird in the hand. Nice, no matter what, to get Dix in this situation. I'm gonna put it like a 9. 9 out of 10 want.
Two decimal.
Yeah.
Give me a decimal.
I like that because it's like
9.0. It's a 9. It's just on the nose. It's a 9.
Because if you don't get him, it's not like he's not like a Remy Martin, where it's like, oh, you're not going to go and get another Remy Martin. Where it's like, if you don't get Dix, you're just going to go and try and find another guy who's like him. You're going to go try to find a lesser version of him, another dude who can space the floor, who can finish at the rim, who can just be an efficient offensive piece. So it's like, why don't you just get the first one? That'd be great. Just get the first guy you go out for. Less work in the future.
I'm gonna get water. I'm gonna get water. My screen is off. I need some water.
It's a great time to do our first sponsor read. This segment, this water break, is brought to you by Evian. Evian, clean, natural spring mountain water, the official water of Could Be Wrong. All right, back to the show. Nick Schwert, Mike Vernon, Kevin Tien. I do wonder what Darren Peterson is thinking right now. Like, I know everybody's kind of going there of, everyone's leaving. Who the fuck is this guy going to play with? And part of me says, oh, these incoming freshmen, like, they don't care that the team sucks this year. They think they're going to come in and fix it. But in the offseason, when they're seeing everyone jumping ship, when they're seeing, the McDonald's All-American big man who I thought was going to play 35 minutes a game is now like, yeah, I'm going to test the portal as well. Like, at what point, this is a legitimate question, at what point do you start worrying about, is Darren Peterson coming to Kansas next year? I know Twitter and the Discord is already there, but I want to have a legitimate discussion about this. Is there a point in time when you would start getting concerned about this guy coming to KU next year?
Not yet. I'm not there.
Can you talk some people off the ledge? Because I know a lot of people are there.
Well, like, I don't know, like, that Flory like Flory's the thing that I think sent people there, and like I think you can pretty much sell around that pretty easily, especially if you're like, no, this is who we're gonna bring in. Like he probably has some idea of who he's gonna be playing with. I would imagine he does. So if things start continuing to not go as planned, because Flory is probably on that list, like then maybe you're concerned. I'm not there yet. There's like change happening everywhere. So it just feels like portaling everywhere. Everyone's living in the portal. So I'm just not sure. I don't think I'm there yet.
Yeah. Is it a big difference if he's, driving and throwing one up to Flory versus I don't even know if he's in yet, but Vasar is an interesting dude out of Arizona. Like that caliber of guy that comes in who he can go and catch one at the top of the square and dunk it too. So I don't know if it matters that much, but if he knows a lot more than we do. I mean, I feel like we just named 11 empty spots or 10 spots. So scary right now.
I would hope that they're talking to him. That's pretty much it. Like that he's got a sense of who he's going to be playing with.
I
would
assume he is. I mean, think about it. If you're Bill Self, Darren Peterson is the first name you think about, the first person you think about when you wake up every single day. Forget any of the transfer portal guys. Every morning, you're like, is Darren okay? Is Darren still happy? Is Darren getting worried?
Is Will Wade calling Darren?
Because if Darren is out, if Darren announces tomorrow, like, I'm going to reopen my recruitment, it's absolute apocalyptic, worst case scenario, disaster mode.
I mean, I no Darren, no Bill. Like, that's kind of how I see it.
I know. You know what? I thought about that this week. Like, oh, if Darren Peterson decommitted, would Bill leave? But imagine that headline: Bill Self leaves with absolutely zero fucking roster. That is the worst in terms of optics. That's the worst in legacy optics. That's the worst way Bill could exit. Shitty season. Your number one recruit decommits. Every single player is asking out, and you're just like, yeah, me too. You guys don't want to be here? Yeah, well, guess what? I don't either.
Yeah, right. That is the worst case scenario. That is apocalypse. Like, yeah, that's the worst possible thing that could happen. I think it's pretty unlikely.
Good.
But like, could be wrong. Could happen.
What is like can you give an idea? It doesn't even have to be like dollars and cents, but like what is the thing that Darren Peterson is getting out of Kansas? Is it just dollars and cents? Is it just the KU just backed up the Brinks truck?
Yeah. Money. Adidas is pretty big. We're the flagship Adidas school. Adidas sponsored him when he was in high school.
Yeah. Okay. I get that, but like, can you?
I don't know, exposure. I don't like know a ton.
What does that mean though? Like, is it like
a huge program?
No, I know, but I'm naive to exactly what that entails. So like, if you're a flagship program like Kansas is with Adidas, is it simply like, hey, you come here, we're going to give you a ton of cash, and on top of that, like, we're sort of setting you up to sign a massive endorsement deal with Adidas if you end up being a superstar at the next level? Like, is that the general idea?
I would have to think that's a huge piece. And like that's the flagship basketball program. He's their flagship player. And also the cave is open, which is going to be huge. They can sell him on that. The Hall of Fame coach. You've got fan base money. Like I think he's by all accounts I've heard, like pretty awesome camp. Like plays hard both ways. Like I think there's a lot that is probably in KU's favor on that. But a lot of
You're
schools
saying
can offer a lot of it.
But he could, I mean, premier program, Hall of Fame coach. He fits Bill, two-way style.
Yeah.
Tons of Adidas money.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can continue to get at least one guy.
Because
Yeah.
for what it's worth, like this whole partnership and with every school has with these athletic brands, like Darren Peterson, Adidas, if Darren Peterson ends up being a star, this whole him coming to Kansas, the entity who gains the most from this is not Darren Peterson and it's not Kansas. It's Adidas. It's like, yo, we partnered up with this kid when he was 18. And that's why he remained loyal to us. And we ended up signing one after we fucking lost literally every great basketball player ever. Like we had MJ, we had Kobe, we couldn't get LeBron, we couldn't get KD. It's like, yeah, we got Darren Peterson the same way they got Wiggins. Remember when Andrew Wiggins signed his deal with Adidas and they were like, yo, they're going to give him like a lifetime contract for like $30 million a year once he gets, yeah. That was the idea. They were like, yo, this is why Andrew Wiggins came to Kansas, because he's getting a legacy deal when he gets the league. I think he ended up getting like $2 million a year, some shit. It's like, okay, we'll see about that. He just gets a fresh box of Hardens and Lillards every month. Okay. Mike, who's domino number 2?
Kesan Hall. Okay.
Hall. Is Kesan Hall, is he actually number 2 on your wish list? Or is he number 1? Would you put him ahead of Dix in terms of the impact he would have on KU next year?
I haven't had to consider Hall or Dix, one or the other. Like, so Kesan is more your alpha, your Jalen Wilson type. Your 4 who scoring 4 basically allows you to not have last year be the same. So like, yeah, I'd probably put him above on the priority list. Yeah. If I had to pick, I like them together, which is what I'm trying to say. Like that makes a lot of sense together. I figured that they're going to have another like ace up their sleeve. I'm sure with some late guys hitting the portal. But
they're going to have to. They have 12 spots to fill. They're going to have to be active early.
God, this must suck for them.
In the middle, and they're going to have to be. There is no like, yeah, let's just crush it for a month, then we can coast.
That's why I feel like they have to get those two like as soon as humanly possible. That's why you can wait for a better version of Dix, but sometimes Dix is good enough. Just getting that first, efficient shooter, and then getting a Kesan Hall, who worries me a little bit, but I think we just have PTSD. So 3 schools in 3 years on Kesan Hall. He was awesome against us, and
plays hard,
long, exciting, strong, can shoot it. Really, I mean, he's really fun. But if you remember how you did the Remy scale, what if we did it like an AJ Store scale? Because there's potential AJ Store traits, not just the schools, but just is that style of play gonna be allowed? Is it going to flourish under mercenary Bill? I don't know. So 1 to 5,
as long as you play hard. As long as you play hard. I don't know what a 5-8 is. It's the reverse Remy. Yeah, they're the opposite. like.
Well, what I noticed about Hall is he gets to the fucking free throw line 10 times a game.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
It's like he's not Dix. He's not super efficient. He doesn't just like take good shots, make good shots. It's that he's aggressive. He gets to the line and he'll go 10 for 12 from the free throw line, which is not something.
Did we lose Nick? Oh no, you're
He
back.
was about to make a
I'm back.
crazy point. He froze, which is he's back. He's a bull. Like, he's an absolute bull. Bill's bull.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. You have to get these two early. Otherwise,
it'd be
it's
great.
Like, okay, still 12 more to go.
Yeah, it'd be really good. I think we shouldn't ideally know about Dix pretty soon. Hopefully Dix comes soon. Dix is supposed to come soon. Hall, a little bit later addition to the portal. He's going to be really popular. He does rebound. I agree with Zay Portal. He makes a lot of sense, right? Like there's your Jalen Wilson 4. You're like, things will be different. My evidence, Kesan Hall at the 4. And then if you land those two, let's say things go well, you can basically like flex Dix to the 2 or the 3. I think KU would probably like another like combo type of guard who can play with Peterson and take pressure off him too. So you got some downhill guys, you got some shooters. That would make sense. But the name of who is next is like, it's not totally clear. They've been talking to some dudes who are coming from like smaller schools who could be guards. You also have RJ Lewis hitting the portal. Look. RJ Lewis averaged 18 at St. John's. He's going to try to go pro 7 rebounds.
Bro, I think I just figured it out. What if Bill leaned so far into the new era, like no announcement, all of a sudden there's a tweet sent out tomorrow night from the KU Hoops Twitter account, and it just said Bill Self is live on Twitch. And it's Bill Self literally just like in his basement in front of his computer, and he's just like going over portal decisions, and he's crowdsourcing. And he's like, all right, chat. He's like, all right, chat, who are you signing? Dix or Hall? And then
Could
the
he be
poll
like playing
and all the
game?
But you know how those Twitch streams are, where it's like a lot of silence. It's a lot of the guys just sitting there, just like,
Who do you want me to pay more?
all right. I see a lot of people saying Dix. Yo, chat, is Hall cooked? Chat. All right.
Could you imagine
and like
being
if he live streamed the call where he's like, Dix, you're up next. And like he signed them on the Twitch, and then he called Hall on the Twitch stream as well and was like, it ain't happening, son. Like that's the new era. Dude, that is how you resonate with these kids. It's like that's the Kai Cenat, that's the speed. Like this is what the kids want, man. Virality, ownership.
You're saying he would, in this case, call
It's so good.
like a Kesan Hall and say and be like, "Yo, they don't want you." Hangs up phone.
I had to do it, chat. I had to do it.
Engagement is going insane through the roof. Bill's
Dude,
making
a great idea
than he is from his coaching salary.
Think of the headlines the next day. They're like, Bill Self tells recruit he can't sign him live on Twitch. That's sick. And Bill Self's just playing Fortnite in the background. The whole time he's playing Fortnite.
He's just dressing.
And he's bringing on, it's a live stream for like 8 hours, and he's bringing on past players. So like all of a sudden he'll do like a twos matchup on Fortnite with like Ochai. And he's like, Ochai, did you see that last call? You see our new recruit? He's like, yeah, coach, that was ruthless, Bill.
That was really messed
you didn't
up.
Have to do him like, you didn't have to do him like that.
Bill Self said, what? YouTube thumbnail. You'll never believe what Bill Self did on Twitch. It's a great idea. I'm in on this all the way in. Yeah.
Yeah. I am actually.
Very-
I think this is great.
What do you think Lance does to one up it?
I don't think he could. I don't think he would be able to navigate the
Lance could do
technology.
a Twitter live. Lance could do a Twitter live, or what do they call it? Spaces.
Spaces with like Elon talking about politics.
Lance, get off your computer games. Time for dinner. It's like, I'm working. It's like, I'm working, Kelly.
I made your favorite again. It's meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Lance, I made your favorite. It's 1 pound of raw potatoes again. I know you love it.
And cabbage soup for dessert. I hate this.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yes. All right, so who's next? Tell me about the Kennesaw State guy, Wooly.
I just lost
Wait a minute. Before we get into fucking Kennesaw State, Mike, can you tell me, are there any guys who you have already like reported are probably going to enter the portal or who's the most realistic to return? Is there anyone that's even worth discussing, or
What are
are
you
they
saying?
all likely gone? Are any of the dudes who you believe are going to enter the portal from KU, any of them have like a legitimate shot at returning?
Yeah, I'm thinking Flory's guardian went on the record and said that they're leaving the door open. I think that's probably unlikely.
Is that bullshit?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, like, they'd come back if KU came in, over the top with an offer, which like isn't realistic. So like, I don't think that's happening.
And by the way, you can't do that. It can't just be like, we'll always offer more money than the next school, because then every single fucking player ever is going to be like, yo, I'll enter the portal too.
Yeah.
Just to see if I can get an extra $500,000 off them.
Yeah. It's part of the issue here. So maybe, I mean, Rylan I would be very surprised, but if he doesn't get offers like the kinds that I think he'd want, like a decent offer, I could see him coming back, but I don't think we're going to pay him what he would want ideally to start. So like that's kind of how it would have to happen. Otherwise, like, no, the answer is no. Like, I think very unlikely unless someone goes and just does not get what they hope.
Didn't he just destroy his market value here though? Like, not to be
probably
mean. So
I don't know.
Where are these guys? What kinds of schools are these dudes going to end up?
I don't know.
Let's go through it real quick, like rapid fire. Flory going to end up at a contender.
Yeah. The Auburn,
they just
Indiana, Michigan. Yeah.
Okay. Rylan, like low level, high major.
I think high major, SEC,
but like not.
I think mid. I think like mid tier probably.
AJ Store, is he mid major bound?
Memphis. Everyone likes Memphis for him, which would be awesome. 25 points on 26 shots. I'm all in on AJ and Memphis. I'm gonna
11 wins. Yeah,
I'm gonna like power watch Memphis basketball next year. Just be like, give it back to him.
For
Diggy.
Sure.
Diggy wants to play
Northern Illinois.
Diggy. Hey,
I think like
the word "once" doing a lot of heavy lift in there, Mike. It seems.
I don't know. I think like either low tier Power 5 or high tier mid major where he'll play. I think he wants to play for his last year.
No shit, dude.
Well, like that's fair because people come back, like have a role, and I think he was like, I think I'm gonna go play.
All right, here's my thoughts.
Last 19 games of the year.
Could have just stayed at fucking Northern Illinois. Playing time was the issue, pal. You went from Northern Illinois to Kansas, and now you're like, but I want to play. What you think was going to happen?
No, this
you played enough. You played plenty.
You played some.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
I just don't get it. Yeah, know thyself.
Last 19 games of the year, how many shots do you think Diggy had under 4.5 feet? So in the circle, at the rim, basically.
I know one.
Well, I was gonna say
specifically.
I was gonna say all of them because he's like a little under 4.5 feet tall, and all of his shots came from under 4.5 feet.
That's good.
5.
We got 5. We got to guess a 5. I'm pulling it up.
I'm gonna guess 2.
Guys,
I remember the baseline drive against Houston.
How could you not?
Then I wonder if that didn't make his chart, because otherwise it's 0.
Unchartable.
Oh, that was definitely within 4.5 feet.
Okay. Wait, which game? Oh, I said, okay, so that'd be the 20th game. So starting after that game, after that baseline drive, 0 shots at the rim and 3 total in the paint. 8 total.
Well, with good reason.
In 73s. And I don't think he's going to want to play at KU because I think the staff told him, you're not taking anything inside the paint anymore. Like I heard that. Yeah, actually. And the numbers back it up.
And Diggy, his response is, I fucking live in the paint. So if you're not going to let me thrive there, I'll go do it somewhere else.
This isn't going to be fun is more my read on it. Like, you know, like I don't blame him. Yeah, if he doesn't want to do that, like that's fine.
I love him. I wish he was back, but like Nick was saying, I mean, you had all the minutes in the world at your last stop. You come here to be a part of something that was supposed to be a little bit better.
Now he wants them.
And now now I don't really know what the point of transferring is. But okay.
Well, I think it's probably admitting defeat. It's probably thinking, yeah, I thought I was going to be the dude here. Now I'm realizing I'm not the fucking guy I thought I was. So I need to go back where I belong. Which I actually respect a little bit.
I think he'll go somewhere in between where he was and where he ended. Somewhere between Illinois. Yeah. Passmore?
Yeah, Rickies.
I think he'll go lower tier high major. He's a top 50 recruit. Like a lot of schools were on him. So
Arkansas.
I think I think he'll end up at a high major Power 5. That'd be my hunch.
Rickies is one of those guys, and Mech, I wish Mech were here for this conversation because I feel like he was beating this drum last year, which was like, what's the point of bringing in guys like Rickies anymore?
I think it sucks. If you're like, I talked to Mech about this like yesterday. Like, why would you come back? Like, there's no incentive. You're gonna get recruited over, and then you're halfway done with college, and you don't have highlights, and like you're
but to that point,
pro, and you have more money elsewhere. Like, why would you do that? There's no benefit.
I would take it a step further though, Mike. To that point, it's like, why even come here in the first place?
Okay, you shouldn't have done it. I don't think they should have. I think it's like, yeah, it's shitty. Like, that's shitty. I remember being told like I think he had higher offers. Like
if you don't think,
I think he took less money to come to Kansas.
If you don't think he's going to be a year one guy, you have to start thinking like this. It's like you won't get him for year 2. So unless you play him year 1. So if you don't think he's a year 1 guy, what is the point of even bringing him in? And I'm sure from his point of view, his thought was like, no, I'll play. I'll beat these other dudes out.
I think they told him he was going to play.
Well, every kid I would hope these competitors come into college like, yeah, I'm going to beat everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm that dude. I'm different. And you don't, and you're like, well, fuck this place. I'll go somewhere else.
Is he going to have a better year 2 at somewhere else versus here?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, we don't know if he's better.
What? Also, the situations they put him in were like awful. They would put him in on the road when KU was losing and like the wheels were coming off, and they throw him out there with like AJ and like the total like Diggy, like things out of control at Creighton, at Missouri, or in the last like 5 seconds of a half. You go from Keys as your best player in that scrimmage against Arkansas to like basically just didn't really give him a run in those in your easier November, December games because the team was still figuring it out, or like, which they never did. Like there were issues. And so, yeah, he's going to probably get some playing time somewhere else.
Could he not try to hack Bill's brain by sticking around for another year and being like, hey, looks like I'm the continuity, baby. Put me in the game. I know your system better than all these Blackwater mercenary higher guards. Put me in.
Yeah.
Put me in.
I just don't think it. No. I think you're sitting there watching. Key's going to recruit right over him again. It's like, all right, they're going to bring in older guys. Development's not really being prioritized. I don't see the incentive at all.
Okay.
Especially, we'll see where he goes. Yeah, it's fucked.
All right.
Yeah. Next up, we have to end on a positive note. So, De'Aaron Peterson, Kesan Hall, Josh Dix, rim running big, and then Special Weshy at the 2. Who could it be? I don't know. LeBaron Philon. Portal or Pro.
He was out. Here's the headline. Look, this just in, : former Kansas recruit leads Alabama in scoring in Elite 8 game.
Elite 8 loss. Yeah,
no,
because he wasn't going to play over. He wasn't going to play over
headline.
one.
The headline is an Elite 8 game. We don't have to mention that they lost by 20 points. LeBaron Philon 16 explodes in Elite 8 game for Alabama.
Ready to come back to KU and finish what he never really started.
There we go. That's it.
Hell yeah. Now that's a team. That's a team.
What would Marcus Morris say? LeBaron Philon's a bipper.
He's bippy. He's a bipper. What was that video? He's bipping. I sent Nick a video.
So
and
apparently
I said,
the Morris twins have a podcast now, and they said that Austin Reeves is a bipper. He's bipping. And I don't know what it means, but I'm going to start using it loosely, very aggressively and loosely.
I sent that to you. I said, I don't understand what's happening in this clip. I still don't, but I think through the context clues, we can say that LeBaron, he's a bipper as well, in the sense that they meant Austin Reeves was.
Yes.
We'll learn more about it. We'll get back to you guys. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to research that this offseason. Yeah, man. I'm honest. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a tough sell to try and like end on a high note and be like, yeah, this is all sick. This rocks. This is the way it's supposed to be. I sent that tweet out yesterday, and I had a lot of people telling me like, somebody hack your account? When I basically just said, oh, Flory's leaving. This sucks. This is bad. And everyone's like, really? What's wrong with you? I'm like, what the fuck are you guys paying attention to? But this one was my favorite, from Andrew Guttenschritter. He said, but Nick, you still believe Mike Vernon You still make his dreams come true. You all created this. Think about it, my guy. Way to go. And I have thought about it, and I have no fucking clue what this guy was trying to say. But apparently, this is all our fault, Mike.
Classic.
Think about it.
Because you believe me on Flory hitting the portal. Someone emailed me just like, you're making up rumors to get VIP subscriptions. And I was like, no, he's in the portal. And he was like, no, that's a rumor. I was like, no, his guardian is on the record now. I was like, this guy's emailing me, telling me I'm making things up when the Guardian went public on the record. I'm like, no, these things happen. The hit rate.
Making shit up. Clickbait.
It's my fault. I told the guys that they were going to play and have a great year together, and they didn't.
This dude really just be making shit up, folks.
It was Doc Sadler emailing me. Oh, we love Doc. Who is that guy?
Here's a positive.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. There's still teams out there that are advancing to the Final Four. They're playing in this new system. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Got a chance.
Maybe. I'm saying there's a chance.
It's on the table. All right. What did you just comment?
What do we do? What do we do that's not bad?
What are we doing now?
Yeah, like what are we gonna?
Or what do you want us to be clear?
Make this better. Okay, let me be very clear. Make this better. Can you make this better? Because this all sucks. I've been on it for almost 2 hours, and I was like, oh, I'll start off hot, and then I'll come around and I'll be like positive at the end. We talked about these different guys. We talked about Dix. We talked about Kesan Hall, Darren Peterson not wavering. Okay, this is all cool. KU's going to come in with 12 new players next year, none of whom have ever played together. And I'm going to have to get to a point where I'm like, yeah, they'll all fucking be great together.
Here's what could be fun. Some of the best KU seasons would be a team that like they'll probably lose some games early, but in theory, like there's a very real chance that they get better as the year goes and things come together. And like that is really fun to see. Dick's growth. Okay. So like maybe I think you might have to get a little younger on staff.
Oh, on the staff. Okay.
Go on Twitch. Roster older, staff younger on Twitch. Like that would be fun. So look, it's possible, but yeah. It's troubling times in Jayhawk land.
Did Vern go into like some obscure fucking accent at the end of the chat is like, we're fucked. We're so fucked.
It's pretty sketch. Troubling times.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal. That's where we are.
All right, fuck. I will say this. Just independent of Flory leaving, independent of whoever else is leaving, what's going on with Bill, state of college basketball. If in the next 7 days, if you just told me Dix commits and Kesan Hall commits, at the very least, this is a step in the right direction. That's better than them not committing. I can get on board with that. And that is probably the extent of like the optimism that I can reach tonight.
You think you'd be all the way back?
Kinda back. Yeah. I'd say I'm kinda back. I'm coming back.
I'm working on some scoops to drop. We'll see.
Will you just do this right now? Will you just instead of working on a scoop and like confirming it, will you just like do it raw
be
and
reckless.
live and show it all right now?
No.
Like, what are you chasing? Come on, Mike, come on.
New.
But for real.
Hey,
What
if you
is it?
preface it with "could be wrong," you're safe. You're
Yes.
protected.
Okay. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Looking into like RJ Lewis interest. From St. John's. Like that.
Oh,
I don't.
mommy.
So we'll check that out. He's gonna be looking to go pro though. So like that's a classic. That's a long one. Right. Oh, a pro? That sounds good.
No, good. It'd be good if he just went pro.
Oh, you're out on Lewis.
You can't play for Patino in crunch time. Get out.
That was weird. That was
Oh,
weird.
so we're shaming him for getting benched. Literally, like all American season, had one bad game, and you're out on him.
That's what I believe. Today, right
Marco's a hoe.
All right,
I
we got to
believe
get off
Marco's
this
a
thing.
hoe.
We got to get off this
Addicted
thing.
to drugs. Okay. All right. Hey, listen to me. If you take anything from tonight's podcast, it's this. Okay, and read my lips. Hulk smash that motherfucking like button and that subscribe button. Okay?
Troubling
So this is just
times.
1.0. This is 1.0.
Everybody up.
And we get it. And we'll have more. Dude, this
Hit that
is
button. It's
just
so
the
easy to
beginning.
hit. So easy. Just tap.
Yeah, portal's when we peak. You'll know it.
If you're watching this, and if you watch every single time we go live and you're not subscribed, now you're taking money off our tables. You know, like we have families to support. It's the least you can do.
We made 0 on the pod all time. But we
We
could.
are in the hole. We are in the red.
Yeah, we are. We're negative on
big time. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of custom
you can help
gear.
us.
A lot of expense.
Yes.
A lot of private
Yes.
planes.
Fuck yeah.
A lot of dicks to sign. All right. Until next time, for Jayhawk Talk, RIP, for Kevin Tehan, for Mike Vernon, Nick Schwert. Frankly, this could be wrong.